UFC 307 just happened on Saturday, and while there's a lot of things to look back on, it's time to start looking forward onto who each fighter should fight next.
Let's do it. Matchmaking time.
Starting off with the featured prelim, Joaquin Buckley versus Stephen Thompson. Let's start off with the loser, Stephen Thompson. And while I do think he should consider retirement at the age of 41, if he's going to keep fighting, let's have him promote some big up-and-coming stars. So I think he should fight the winner of Carlos Prates versus Randy Brown.
I like that. That's a fight that just got announced, kind of officially.
It's basically official for 310.
Exactly. So I think that gives Wonderboy enough time to recover and go through another camp. And obviously Carlos Prates, assuming he wins that
fight. That's kind of, I wanted to put Prates, but I put the winner just in case Randy Brown wins.
Exactly. So we'll assume it's Prates. He's a young guy. He can recover pretty fast. Hopefully he doesn't take too much damage in his next fight. And I think that's a great idea. You got to start using the name value of these bigger guys who had careers like Stephen Thompson. They did it with Joaquin Buckley. He beat Stephen Thompson, and now he's kind of getting those fans from him.
Mm-hmm. You know? And I think that would be a great fight. Prates, super exciting. Thompson, still super exciting, even at the late age of 41.
Yeah.
Would be a great fight. Could be another, should be on the main card of a pay-per-view, but who knows? Maybe they'll chuck it on the prelims.
Or it could headline a big fight night.
Yeah,
as
or
well.
co-main a fight night.
I think that's a good fight.
Would really cement Prates on the map too, because if he were to go out and beat Thompson, that's name value. That's a name value win. Shavkat's getting a title fight after a Thompson win.
Yeah, that's weird to think about now. What did you think about Stephen Thompson's performance at UFC 307? Because obviously I did the reaction video without you.
Yeah, I still think he looked good. And it was just kind of one big strike by Buckley. Like Thompson, I would say, might have been winning that fight. It was close. He did not look bad. He did not look like he was 41, but he did look like he had a 41-year-old's chin.
Yes, I had it 1-1. I could see I had it 1-1, and then I think Thompson was winning that third round until he got caught.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, Thompson's really about to just out-decision this guy at 41 years old, which is crazy. And then, just got caught against the fence. And it was, Buckley put his whole life force into that punch.
All right, moving on to the guy who beat Thompson, Joaquin Buckley, and I have him facing Sean Brady. I don't think that either guy is ready for one of the top guys at welterweight. Like, I think that neither one of them is really ready for like an Usman. I think that's just a little bit too much of a step up for both of them. So we have Buckley and Brady go out and fight each other, and then the winner goes on and gets like a JDM, an Usman, Leon, someone at the top of welterweight. So they're kind of still 2 fights away from a championship fight.
Exactly. You got to build these guys up so that when they get to the championship fight, it feels like they're actually ready. Mm-hmm. I think with Shavkat, with probably getting his title shot against Bilal, obviously I want it. Most people want it. Is it truly deserved? Probably, he should probably have one more fight, ideally, to prove that he is that championship material.
But there's no one ready.
Exactly. And I'm not mad. They need to move that division forward because it's kind of in limbo right now. I think the call out by Buckley to Kamaru Usman, it's not horrible.
No, it's better than calling out McGregor.
Yeah, that's pretty easy to do a better call out.
Reality, that fight could happen. I just think it's a huge step up.
Yeah, it is a huge step up. And in my opinion, I think I was telling you this last night, Kamaru Usman wants to get right back in that title picture. He's not going to want to fight someone who's ranked number 9 after the rankings come
nothing
out.
to gain from it.
Exactly. And I think you're right. Buckley can't go up and fight a JDM. He doesn't deserve that. Mm-hmm. So fighting someone like Sean Brady, who did just come off a great win, someone who has a lot of hype like Buckley, put them together.
Exactly. All right, moving on to the main card. We'll start off with the opening fight. Kayla Harrison versus Ketlin Vieira. We'll start off with the loser. Ketlin Vieira, I think she should go out and fight Raquel Pennington,
Yeah, fair enough, dude. She didn't look that bad against Kayla Harrison for being a minus 1,000 favorite. Kayla Harrison, to be honest, I wasn't wowed and impressed by the dominance. Mm-hmm. It was a little bit even less than I expected. Obviously, it was still dominant and she still won all of the rounds, in my opinion. For being a minus 1,000, I expected better from Kayla. So Ketlin Vieira looked solid, was ranked number 2, probably going to get demoted a little bit. And Raquel Pennington kind of just did Raquel Pennington things.
And she arguably won that fight. I had it as a Pennington win by decision.
So did every other 26 other media members.
And Dana.
And and the commentators.
Yeah. So with this, it's just like Pennington takes this fight and it's basically she wins that fight. She can go back and fight winner of Harrison Pena.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. No need to really bring other people up. You can just, spoiler alert, I have the women's fights being Harrison versus Pena.
What?
And then Vieira versus Pennington. It's
No way.
It's as simple as that, like the winners of those two fights and then the losers.
Yeah, it's the most logical thing to do. Kayla Harrison obviously deserves her title shot now. The UFC could have just given it to her right away. They didn't, which I am glad about. Again, it gives her just another chance to get familiar with striking because she's coming from judo, right? And you can see that she does lack some experience in the striking exchanges and going for double legs and single legs when they're there. She just doesn't go for them. She'd rather go to the fence, try get a judo trip, and when that doesn't work, you kind of look bad.
Yeah.
The winner of that Juliana Pena fight, I wasn't impressed with them either.
Yeah.
So I still think Kayla Harrison wins that championship belt, but it's just
especially in 5 rounds. Like,
it's just the stupid division,
yeah,
man.
like we don't need to talk about that anymore.
No, let's move on.
All right, moving on to the featured fight. Controversially, Mario Batista beat Jose Aldo. Another questionable judge's decision. And I have the loser, Jose Aldo, going out and facing the loser of Figgy versus Jan. All 3 of those guys are at the tail end of their careers, so let's just have them go out and fight. I thought maybe let's have someone up and coming fight Aldo, but there's really no one ready. Rosas Jr. and Talbot, they're still a few fights away, so let's hold them off because I think Aldo has a good chance against both of them. So let's just kind of have Aldo hang out, have a couple great fights, 1 or 2 more before he retires. And then for Figgy and Jan, that's going to be a great fight. And the loser still will probably look good, but timeline-wise, it'll work out well. Just great fight. I like to see exciting fights.
I think a lot of people might be upset or confused about this match, but I do think it makes sense because we've seen that Aldo still has top 5 level talent for being... It's weird. There's actually something that came out. He's listed as 38, but Gilbert Burns said that when he was competing, Aldo used to be 5 years older than him. And now he's only 2 years older than him.
Yeah. I remember hearing that. I was like, I just didn't really think about it. I was like, what?
So there's something like, I don't know, reverse aging going on. Like Aldo's getting younger and he still looks really good and really sharp. And I had Aldo winning that fight as well against Mario Batista, along with a lot of other people. I think it was an even clearer decision than Raquel Pennington. That Pennington versus Pena fight was like razor close in that first round. And then the Aldo fight, in my opinion, he clearly defended the takedowns well. So I didn't give Mario Batista many points for that. And then he also landed and outstruck him in the exchanges. So I got Aldo winning. And so I think he should get the chance to fight up in the rankings rather than fight down against these up and comers.
Even like the bottom of the bantamweight rankings, Aldo's fought most of them. And there's no one that really I'm like, I want to see that. And like putting Aldo against another striker, like Aldo can still strike it. Like, dude, his head movement, his body movement was unreal in that fight.
He definitely looked fatigued, but I think that's mainly due to being in Utah. He did not arrive early whatsoever.
Yeah.
He just showed up and fought.
All right, moving on to the controversial winner, Mario Batista. I have a matchmake up against Chito Vera.
Yeah, that's fair. Vera's coming off a loss against Figgy. Mario Batista coming off that win. I think it's fair. I hope Chito Vera just dominates him.
Yeah, I was not super sold by the Batista win. And I think that this is a risky matchup for Batista because it's going to be another board.
It's going to be a stinker. Put it on the prelims.
And if Dana sees Batista do the same thing, is there a chance he gets cut?
I don't know. I don't think so because that bottom of bantamweight's still not the best. Like there's not many guys who you're wanting to move up into those rankings like Peyton Talbot, Raul Rosas Jr. They're not there yet. So I don't think you have the star power all the way through bantamweight to cut a guy like Mario Batista. But the fan reaction to him now is just foul.
Yeah, he's ruined his reputation with the fans. And I'm not a fan of Mario Batista after last night, and I'm also not a fan of Chito Vera. I'm not a Chito guy. So everyone is going to thank me in the comments because I'm just booking you guys a bathroom break fight. Got to go refill, go grab some food. This is what I'm booking for you. Let's have Chito come out and win a 2-1 decision over Mario Batista in a fight that's probably a stinker. And
this is an Apex headliner if I've ever seen one.
Oh,
it's so
Apex
bad.
that I don't have to watch. Give me a free Saturday night. All right, we've already kind of talked about the co-main. Is there anything else you want to add before we move on to our main event?
Not really. I mean, I guess we matched make them with each other.
Yeah, so we've already talked about it in the opening fight.
Yeah, I think Pennington could definitely win against Ketlen Vieira. I think she still looks sharp in that fight. Obviously, we've talked about altitude so many times, but it does take a big toll in those championship rounds. And Pennington seemingly kept the pace decent in the 4th and 5th rounds compared to Juliana Pena. So I think she would still have the skills to go out there and beat the number 1, number 2 contender. And then Pena versus Kayla Harrison. Kayla Harrison's a beast, dude.
Yeah, and I think if you didn't have someone like Kayla Harrison with the name value, with the hype she has, I think that you would have run back the Pena Pennington fight. Like, as much as I don't want to see it, but like,
kill me.
Yeah. Let's move on to the main event. We had Cody Roundtree get knocked out in the 4th round by Poatan Alex Pereira. And I got Cody Roundtree after his surprising performance. I think most of us counted him out. I know me and you did. We thought he was going to get knocked out in the 1st or 2nd round, but he lasted until the 4th. He won the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
If that fight would have gone to decision, it would have come down to that 5th round. You know, it would have been 2-2 going into the 5th.
Yeah, like I've seen a lot of comments saying they're super impressed with, and I believe this too. I think Roundtree deserves all the respect that he's gotten and all the fans that he's gotten. What I don't agree with is people saying that Pereira isn't that good after this performance, because it's like saying, if you're saying, oh, Roundtree won the first 2 rounds, and if he would have had a good gas tank, he would have won the fight. It's like saying, you know, if my grandma had wheels, she'd be a bike, right? If any fighter had a good gas tank, they would be winning the later rounds, right?
Yeah.
You can say that for literally any fight. If this fighter would have got a submission, he would have won. Wow, really?
Oh, if he landed that strike, knock him out. Yeah,
exactly. If Poatan would have landed a left hook in the first round, it would have been over. Wow. Like, no kidding.
So I think that Roundtree, while he lost, deserves to step up in competition. We don't need to see him fight someone at the bottom.
No.
So that's why I have him going out and fighting the loser of Rakic and Ankalaev at UFC 308.
That makes sense, because I think that Rakic is probably going to lose that. So if I had to pick, it'd be Rakic.
Yeah, so he's about 5th ranked.
Yeah, 6th ranked. So that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think that timeline-wise, it doesn't really work out either for him to go up and fight like a Jamal Hill or a Pereira or a Prohaska. It's just those guys' timelines don't really line up as well.
Yeah, it's lining up as a Jamal Hill and Yuri fight, which would be great. And I guess he could face the loser of that. But it's like, I feel like he wants to get back in there again quickly.
We don't need to have him take a year layoff or have Prohaska or Hill wait and have like a year and a half layoff. So timeline-wise, they're both fighting a month apart, give or take a month. So timeline-wise, it works out really good for him to go out and fight the loser of that.
Yeah, I corrected you wrong. Rakic is number 5. I forgot.
Yep. Flame him in the comments.
I think Özdemir is number 6, and he has a fight scheduled against Olberg. I think the winner of that could also be fighting up in the rankings, because those are big
Dude,
boys.
I'm high on Carlos Olberg.
Yeah, dude, he's hype.
All right, moving on to Shama Alex Pereira. Who do we want him to fight? It's not Dricus.
No.
It's not Tom Aspinall, as much as we want to see it. It's not John Jones. Pereira said it himself. He wants to stay in 205. And we have him facing the winner of Ankalaev versus Rakic, which will likely be Ankalaev. And he can finally put all the haters to rest, the saying that Ankalaev could beat him.
I think that Rakic has the possibility to do something very funny and win, and then get a title shot. That would be amazing. And Dana White would just be, he'd be so happy. He'd be smiling like a little boy, ear to ear.
He'd be in the crowd just chuckling.
Yeah, exactly. But no, honestly, if it's Magomed Ankalaev, which 75% chance it will be, I think that Pereira has a tough matchup on his hands. We saw him go 4 rounds with Cody Roundtree. I don't think Ankalaev has as crisp striking and is definitely not as explosive. So I think that Pereira is going to have a much bigger advantage on the feet, but that takedown and that wrestling from Ankalaev.
But Ankalaev, people are like treating Ankalaev like he's Khamzat Chimaev or Islam on the ground. Like they're like, oh, this guy is unreal. Like Ankalaev tends to stay on the feet in his fights.
Yeah, he does. And I think we saw him in that when he fought Jan. Jan has better wrestling than him, so he had to strike against him and just got eaten alive by calf kicks. So if Pereira can end up defending the takedowns well and just kick those legs apart like he did with Roundtree in the 2nd and 3rd round, which led him to victory, It's going to be the same outcome.
Early prediction, Pereira, knee to the head KO on a takedown, like ankle lab, just head first, boom.
I don't know. Those are hard to time. We thought the same thing about Sandhagen versus Umar.
But if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Pereira.
Yeah, that's fair. And he did land a couple knees against Roundtree as well.
Yeah, they weren't like crazy, but they did damage.
Yeah. Mark Goddard, I don't know if you heard this. He went over to Joe Rogan when Joe Rogan was in the ring. He said that in 20 years of reffing, he's never heard sounds when Pereira hits his opponents. Like, he's the hardest hitting person he's ever heard, which is kind of crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's like genetically gifted mutant.
He's literally that guy.
Let us know who you guys want Pereira to face and who you want Roundtree to face. Those are two intriguing matchups. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.
See ya.